During our family vacation, my 14-year-old daughter collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. My parents and my sister posted, finally having peace without the pathetic drama queen. I didn't shout. I took action. When they returned home, they found this on their kitchen table and started screaming. My name is Ashley, and at 33 years old, during our family vacation, my 14-year-old daughter collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. My parents and my sister posted, finally having peace without the pathetic drama queen. I didn't shout. I took action. When they returned home, they found this on their kitchen table and started screaming. If you have ever felt betrayed by the people who should have been your biggest supporters, let me know where you are watching from. Sounds like the setup for a bad soap opera, right? Unfortunately, it was just another Tuesday with my family. If you've ever wondered what it's like to go on holiday with people who treat cruelty like a team sport, buckle up. We do these family trips every year tradition. My parents call it personally, I call it masochism, but my daughter was excited about this one. It was somewhere she'd been begging to go for ages. She was practically counting down the days. And even though I dreaded the circus, I gave in. That's the thing about being a single mom, sometimes you put yourself in the lion's den just to give your kid a happy memory. So there we were, me, my daughter, my parents, my sister, her husband and their 2 kids. Sounds wholesome, but wholesome ends at the brochure. Behind the smiles, it's every man for himself, with my parents acting like referees who've already picked their favorite team. Spoiler, it's never mine. Day 1, breakfast, and my daughter says her stomach hurts. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet mom, my belly doesn't feel right. Before I can answer, my mother swoops in. Oh, please don't start with the drama already. We just got here. My sister snorts. She's probably just trying to get out of walking lazy like always, and the cousins, smelling blood, chime in like a Greek chorus, drama queen, drama queen. It's like they were waiting for it, honestly, one tiny weakness, and suddenly it's family game night. I try to comfort her, but I admit part of me wanted to believe it was nothing easier to shrug it off than start a fight with my parents before noon on day 1. By midday, the pain was worse. She was pale, holding her stomach, walking slowly behind the group. Don't milk it. My dad barked when she asked to sit down for a minute. She's always been like this. My mom muttered, making sure I heard she'll make a scene out of nothing. My sister rolled her eyes so hard, I thought they'd get stuck. Meanwhile, my daughter stayed quiet. She hates attention, which is ironic, because they all think she lives for it. She tried to keep up, probably desperate not to be mocked again. That broke me a little, watching her try to minimize her pain so these people wouldn't laugh at her. That's what this family does, turn suffering into entertainment. By dinner, she was barely eating. She sat with tears in her eyes while everyone else clinked glasses and laughed. My sister leaned into her husband and whispered something, and both their kids snickered at my daughter. I asked, what was so funny? They smirked. Nothing, right, nothing. And then it happened, she stood up, maybe to go to the bathroom, and just folded like a puppet with its strings cut. One moment she was upright, the next she was on the floor, clutching her stomach and gasping in pain. For a split second, the table went quiet, then my mom broke the silence. Oh, for heaven's sake, like my kid collapsing, was just her pulling another stunt. I lost it. I grabbed my daughter, yelled for help, and we got her, rushed to the hospital. That night was a blur, white walls, harsh lights, doctors asking questions, nurses moving quickly. My daughter curled on the bed in agony. Me sitting there, trying not to cry. I didn't know what was happening, appendicitis, food poisoning, something worse. My brain went to dark places. All I knew was my baby was in pain and I couldn't fix it. I texted my family to let them know we were at the hospital. No reply. Hours crawled by, test after test. Me pacing, holding her hand, telling her it would be okay, even though I didn't know that at some point, desperate for distraction, I checked my phone, and that's when I saw it, a photo posted an hour earlier, my parents, my sister and the cousins, grinning by the pool, cocktails in hand, the caption, finally, having peace without the pathetic drama queen. I froze. My daughter was in a hospital bed, crying out in pain, and they were out there celebrating, posting selfies, mocking her, mocking us. I stared at that picture until my hand shook. I wanted to scream, to throw the phone across the room, to march back to that hotel and drag them all here to see what drama really looked like, but I didn't, because in that moment, something inside me snapped. The years of being dismissed, of being told I was, the disappointment of watching them play favorites and belittle me and now my daughter, it all came into focus, and I knew this was it, the line they'd crossed it and there was no going back. I sat there beside my daughter's hospital bed while the people who should have cared most were clinking glasses without us, and instead of shouting, I made a decision. They weren't going to get away with it. If you want to understand why my parents could sit by a pool and toast cocktails while my daughter was in a hospital bed, you have to rewind. I didn't just happen into a toxic family. I was raised in one like a lab experiment. From day one, it was obvious who the favorite was. My sister, 2 years older, perfect on paper, perfect in their eyes, the golden child who sparkled when she sneezed, and me, I was the control group, the disappointment. They never said those words out loud, you're the disappointment. But they didn't have to. It was in the way my mother's voice tightened every time I opened my mouth, the way my father sighed when I tried something and didn't excel, the way teachers would compare me to my sister and my parents would just nod like, yes, exactly. Why can't she be like that? Imagine growing up with a mirror that only shows you what you're not. That was my childhood. When I was little, I tried, God, did I try. I studied harder, I dressed neater. I even practiced smiling in the mirror because my sister's smile seemed to get her everything. I thought, if I could just mimic it, maybe I'd get a fraction of what she got. Spoiler, I didn't. Instead, the more I tried, the more obvious it became that I wasn't her, and in my family, not her was the same as failure. It's funny, kids believe what you feed them. I grew up swallowing disappointment 3 meals a day until I thought it was part of my DNA. If my parents had handed me a certificate that said certified failure, I would have framed it by the time I hit my teens. That sense of worthlessness had calcified.